A little early to go do some stage prep. So let me, one, thank you all for coming and welcome you all for being a part of this task force. Let me start by saying, I've said this in a couple of settings, and I know at least two people in here kind of know my sentiment on this. There used to be a day when the officer lineage was like 6 people, then it went to 5. Now it's 4, and there's a whole year taken out when you get ready to prep and try to talk about initiatives. And you give some thought to if your initiative will be good, something everybody is excited about. And about a year ago, 2 years ago before I got elected, Kelvin and Kristen at some point pulled me to the corner and asked me would I consider, cybersecurity as a initiative. I guess they picked me at good timing because I had just come to the conference from an episode with my son and letting him get my iPad, and he downloaded something that I don't know how he got to because I know he didn't know my password, but I just had that feeling like I don't know what you downloaded or what might happen to my device. And so just that little experience kind of made me feel that a 3-year-old could bring my whole electronic place down. And so it's something that I definitely talked about and considered, and I was like, yeah, I want to go with this. And so the year prep to come to NACo, you start talking out, what your initiative would be. And I remember meeting that, Bert had at the time, and he was like, man, it sounds like a good initiative, but I don't know if you can make it go because you're not going to be able to get commissioners interested. So, I got him on the phone with Kristen. We made the sale. Bert was ready. Bert brought Gerald on to give us full attention from the staff, and so we start working this thing, start coming. And as we start going around talking to people, I get a report that New York has a virus situation, and so Steve came on board in more than he was in a full-hearted way because then he had full blast experience on it. And my only reason I think the committee is really valuable is this. And I said this at the Information Technology Committee meeting. For years, a lot of you all have chaired, committees there. And for the last couple of years, we've lifted IT up to a level, commissioner's level, that is just on the conscience. It's something to look forward to. It's something the private intergovernmental people look to at the conference for some innovative pieces. But, what we talk about in there is the innovation that it does, the efficiency it does. And that's, the good side of the force that you call IT. But you never talk about the dark side, and that's the viral pieces that can come in and just cause havoc on everything. And, when we first started it, IT people were excited about it, but my thought was it did no good in this environment. We're talking money if the commissioners really can't converse with them or is on their level. So my hope, one of them in this thing, is to rise this up to the commissioner level where they're able to really talk about it and understand that, for so long, we've planned for tornadoes, fires, hurricanes, and I think as of this year when, you have one country using a virus as a warfare, it's not unreasonable to think that, any county can be brought down in a matter of minutes and your whole water system, airport, and everything can be brought down. So my thought is that we need to start preparing for that. We need to have this dialogue, and I hope that by the end of this, your interest is enough where it puts us in a position to have cybersecurity on par with the Healthy Counties Initiative, a green government initiative, and it can stand on its own and really drive some things forward. So that's where I'm definitely hoping this comes from. And to get there, I've kind of structured it up different a little bit than you all might be used to as being involved in NACo committees, because there's a core group that is kind of vice chairs and ex officios that'll be on the phone regularly. So then when we get together at conferences like this, you're ready to go. And it's going to happen out the box because October happens to be Cybersecurity Month. So as soon as we walk out of here, and when I leave out of here, I'm sure the discussion you'll have today is how do we create that awareness around October. And to do that, I've asked a fellow commissioner from my county, Mary Ann Borgeson, who is our liaison to a unique situation we have. And it's not unique, but we have a joint city-county technology committee. And she's our rep from there and has done a lot of work with Constance Torregas and people like that to bring us up to par on a situation that seemed kind of bleak at one point because we were throwing money toward we don't know where for a minute. And so I've asked her to chair it because she will know my sentiments from that, and we will be in constant communication, and this is how big I think this is. I've asked Steve Aquario, because of his experience, recently be a vice chair. I've tried to mix this up with a broad base of public sector, so John Langenhardt from his public sector experience will be there. I've put Calvin Coleman on from DHS from that intergovernment experience as an ex officio. I've listed Helen, Randy, Webster Guillory, Joyce Dickerson, and who's over technology and communications, and also Nancy Schott Wireless over JPS because of their role with Homestand Security to be ex officios. And I've also tried to add somebody young from a rural county, Seth Crawford, to be a vice chair. And my good friend from my CLI class, who we've had experience with, Buster Johnson from Arizona, because he used to be a LA County sheriff and bodyguard for Rick James. So, but his law enforcement experience in the biggest county that we have, and my hope is that creates a dialogue to put us in a position to do that. And my hope is that team is talking regularly, so when we come in here, you're all ready to go. And my hope is that when we leave here, we're prepared. You know, NACo's going to put his efforts behind it with Kristen and CIS and Calvin to really give you the materials you need to do where you can put the awareness there. My hope is that you all, as willing, interested bodies, can flow and tell the good news down to everybody else. And hopefully by the end of the year, we got some traction. I will take great pride in the fact that we are the first of the big 7 to go here. And in conversations with the new incoming executive director that we were even having during before his election, I think it's something that he is very interested in. If you come to the meeting today, in modern day athletic terms, I do feel we chose a policy beast to be able to push the initiative, and he's on board. And so my hope is that it's a good year, something long-standing before that, and that we put it on a new stage in regards to local government. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, and I definitely want you all to know that you have full support here, and I look forward to what you all produce. So I want to thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner Rogers, soon to be President Rogers. Has a nice ring to it. Welcome, everyone. And as Chris said, I'm Commissioner Mary Ann Borgeson. And just so you have a little background on me, I've been a county commissioner for 19 years. I was the youngest to get elected to the Douglas County Board and the first woman to chair the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. So pretty good feat there. A lot of commissioners across the state of Nebraska didn't even believe I was a commissioner when they first met me because I didn't fit the mold. So we've come a long way. And I'm very happy to help out by chairing this committee. I think it would be appropriate at this time for all of us to go around and at least introduce ourselves so we know who is all here in the room. So if we can start here.
Oh, sure. Kelvin, National Cybersecurity Division.
Rob Hopper, Canton County, Idaho.
Mike Gittes, PWA Institute, University of Nebraska.
Phil Bertolini, CIO from County Michigan.
Shannon Claggett, CIO for Richland County, South Carolina, and I understand Joyce Dickerson has been appointed to this, and she is my council member.
Kathy Maris, CIO from Bexar County, Texas, and from San Antonio, and San Antonio is heavily involved with cybersecurity, so I'm happy to be here.
Karen Miller, Commissioner in Boone County, and just want to learn with everybody else and help move things along.
Daryl Reese, Operations Commander, Johnson County, Kansas Sheriff's Office.
Judy Shiprack, Commissioner, Multnomah County, Oregon.
Randy Johnson, Commissioner, Hennepin County, Minnesota.
Steve Aquario, New York State Association of Counties.
Gerald Guy, IT Manager for NACo and co-liaison of this committee, of this task force.
Bev Schlotterbeck, NACo Executive Director for County News and the website, and co-liaison with Gerald.
I'm Robert Miles from Symantec Corporation, and I am the paranoid schizophrenic security guy in the room.
I'm Ray Jeffers from Person County, North Carolina, Commissioner, and like the chairperson, I was the youngest in the state when I was elected.
Janet Quist, Department of Homeland Security's Office of Intergovernmental Affairs, and colleague to Calvin.
Keith Falkenberg, Multnomah County Staff to Commissioner Shipwreck.
Mary Pat Hancock, President of the New York State Association of Counties.
Bill Ryan, I'm a legislator from Westchester County, New York, the immediate past president of the New York State Association of Counties, and here today to see what our executive director, Steve Aquario, was involved with this important topic.
Hello, I'm David Weaver, Sheriff of Douglas County, Colorado.
I'm Maria Suarez. I'm with IBM. Terry Leha, Maricopa County Staff to Supervisor Wilcox.
Good afternoon. Rick Jones with Cisco Systems.
Tamara Wilkins with Henrico County.
Dalen Harris, Associate Legislative Director at NACo.
Kristen Judge, former County Commissioner from Washtenaw County, Michigan, now with the Center for Internet Security.
We didn't go down the... Oh.
John Lanehart with IBM.
Les Cargill, Auditor, McLean County, North Dakota.
Buster Johnson, Supervisor, Mojave County, Arizona.
Mary Rose Wilcox, Maricopa County, Arizona.
Jody Chapin, AT&T.
Deborah McNair, AT&T.
John Miller, Black Hawk County, Iowa Supervisor.
Did we miss anybody? I just want to let you know, too, we are being recorded today. So if anyone has an issue with that, I want to make sure you know.
I welcome everyone again. Our agenda today, if you haven't picked it up, it's on the back table. But after our introductions, we're going to have a discussion here about our mission and objectives, and then hopefully after we go through those, which everybody has probably seen kind of a number of times, they've been drafted and redrafted, and I think we're at a point where today we hope that we will be able to adopt those to improve the mission and objectives. And then we'll hear from Calvin Coleman about the October National Cybersecurity Month ideas. And then right at the end, we'll hear from Kristen about kind of an ask for everyone to join MSISAC. And then we should be done for this session. I do want to say a special thanks to Gerald and Bev from the NACo staff that got us all prepared here today. You did a great job, and all the documents and emails that went back and forth, and thank you. I appreciate that. So the first issue that I want to talk about is I actually want to read the issue on the paper just so it's read into the record about what our task force is all about. And county government networks are increasingly becoming a target for hackers. It is imperative that county staff and county commissioners are armed with the resources and knowledge necessary to combat the threats. County residents served by NACo members are increasingly falling victim in internet fraud and abuse that cause emotional and financial stress to our communities. The nation's critical infrastructure is under attack from not only within the United States, but also from nation states around the world. Many counties are responsible for critical infrastructure that is directly tied to cyber networks. Incident response is going to have a new meaning as we move into the next decade. The cyber incident response will need to be addressed. And Commissioner Rogers really hit it as, you know, we sit around the table with many preparedness planning on emergencies and disasters and so forth, but we've never sat around the table and planned for any type of cybersecurity disaster. And so I think it's time that, one, we really do educate ourselves, and then from ourselves we branch out to our colleagues and staff at our counties to really get them up to speed with this issue. So the mission, and again, you've seen a couple of drafts of this, but as of today, the mission statement reads, promote cybersecurity awareness and education to better protect county government network and its residents. Disseminate information regarding services and programming from federal partners directly to county government policymakers and IT professionals. Advocate for cybersecurity educational opportunities and training during NACo conferences. Now I will ask if there is any discussion about that mission statement, that I will, after the discussion, ask for a motion for it to be approved. No discussion? Yes, sir. Second? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, we're official. We have a mission statement. That's big, big news here. All right. So the objectives then, what, again, we drafted and redrafted a few times, but Commissioner Rogers really wanted the main objective for this group to raise awareness among county elected officials of the threats to county government cyber infrastructure. And that is one of our #1 objectives, and we'll talk a little bit more here in just a minute about how the plan is to do that. A second objective would be to provide educational materials, training for elected officials and their constituents on issues related to cybersecurity at work and at home. 3, connect county government with federally funded services offered by the Multi-State Information Sharing and Analysis Center, and you'll hear a little bit more about that. Connect county government with Department of Homeland Security products and resources such as cyber exercises, evaluations, and IT risk assessments. And then lastly, our objective would be to provide input to NACo steering committees on pending cybersecurity legislation when warranted. And so at this time, I would ask if there's any discussion about the objectives that we would lay before you to be approved. Yes, sir?
Just real quick, when it talks about the awareness among county elected officials, we also have an issue with the administrative people in the counties as well.
So,
is there a way to word that where it's county, it's more encompassing of the entire organization? Because I don't know about you, but I see it in my counties that I've got to make sure that my department heads, everybody else is aware of what's going on.
should we add county elected officials and staff, or administration and staff? Okay. I'm sorry?
Replace elected with all.
With all county officials?
Well, the president is going to focus on elections, so we shouldn't lose the focus on elected,
But include others. So if we just say county elected officials, administration, and staff?
Yeah.
Is that?
And I would do that for #1 and #2.
Training for elected. Okay. Is everybody okay with that?
That's pretty important because sometimes the elected officials are aware that the staff drag their feet.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is
Good suggestions. Anything else to add to our objectives? Okay. With those changes, I would ask for a motion to approve our objectives. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? And we did have a PowerPoint I wanted to go through with just a little bit more detail. It was this one? This first slide is pretty impressive. This is a lot of our partners that we have thus far for our task force. And we thank and appreciate them. Oh, can you guys see that okay? And then again, that was our mission and vision. Okay, so here, these are just a few of the milestones for the coming years that, with our objectives that we thought we would lay out for more of a plan on how we're going to accomplish those objectives. And again, these can be revised at any time, added to, so as I'm talking about them, go ahead and interject any comments or concerns you have or ideas. Develop an outline and content for a county cyber training course and workshop. Develop and conduct pilot programs for the county cyber training courses, estimated between 12 and 24 lessons that we would do. Develop a web-delivered version of cyber training course develop a short course version, kind of a little workshop, develop assessment plan for measuring cyber awareness at county level across the nation, and develop and publish Manager's Guide to County Cyber Defense. No, I was on the right one. There we go. So those are the milestones that we would work with for the first or upcoming years.
Our recommendation would be to have a communication strategy and a distribution strategy. Because what we've seen is you can develop the most incredible information, but if you don't have a strategy to communicate it and distribute it, sometimes you can be left with the greatest things without a lot of knowledge.
Good point. Any other? And I would think that in that strategy that you're talking about, I think what Commissioner Rogers would like to see is us as task force members and those of us that are elected officials, that we kind of be that communication voice back to the others. But a good plan definitely would be a big part of it. Yes.
Right before it starts to get adoption, and so to increase adoption and give a strong strategy with that, we'll see really great results.
Good point.
One of the other questions that I have is that coming from a small rural county, the integration with the cities that are in our county is critical.
We can't just do it with the county. We have to do it with the cooperation of the municipalities that are in that county. So, and I don't see anything in that, and I don't know whether it belongs there or not, or whether that's what Chris's idea was. But I know when I go back to my county, I've got to get my cities involved, or it's not going to work.
And I think back home for us anyway, our IT is a joint one. It's a city and a county, but that probably would fall into place with a lot of other counties too. You would probably share or at least talk with your city folk on it. Yeah. So we might want to add that to the state. Yeah. Yeah,
community stakeholders.
Yeah, that would be important. Yes. Yes, exactly. Okay. Anything else?
And if you raise your hand, I can bring the mic around to you too. So if the folks who couldn't be here asked us to audio tape so that they could hear the meeting also and stay up to date. So if you want to raise your hand, I can bring the microphone around.
Okay. All right.
And there were some objectives also on the slide before. If we could look at those too, that'd be awesome. There we go.
The obviously some of these are redundant from what we just talked about, but increase the elected county officials' awareness of cybersecurity and their role in promoting safety and education. And I think again, to your point, that about adding county officials and administration and staff to that would be just as important on these pieces. And increase the number of counties promoting October National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And as Commissioner Rogers said, we are often running after this to really start planning events around that. And even if it is as small as an event of passing a resolution at your boards, doing a PSA through the media, at least we're getting it out there this first year, and then we can build from that. My hope is that if this continues on like Healthy Counties does or is, that we actually create a toolbox for use during the Cybersecurity Month in October like they do for County Awareness Month. I really hope that we can develop that. And then increase the number of counties joining the MSISAC and utilizing their no-cost services to improve security of government cyber infrastructure. And we have a sheet here that, Kristen, you can actually pass that around now if you want. It'd be very, very helpful if each one of our task force members becomes a member of the MSISAC so that we can, again, go out and ask others to become a member of it. And it's very easy, and at the end, Kristen will tell you how to get joined up. And then increase the number of counties utilizing the Department of Homeland Security no-cost services to improve security for government cyber infrastructure, and we'll hear about that in just a minute. So those are kind of the big, broad, let's get started, let's start working mission objectives and how we're going to do it plan. And so if there are no other questions or comments, I am going to move on to the agenda and ask Mr. Calvin Coleman from the Department of Homeland Security to come up and talk a little bit about the program Stop, Think, and Connect. And then when he's done with his presentation, we will be asking this task force to approve us moving forward with supporting that program and taking it again out to our counties and official administration and staff. So with that, Mr. Calvin Coleman.
I don't have a presentation, so.
Oh, you don't have one? Oh, okay. I thought they put one on there for you.
Yeah, I would have been in trouble if they had to. Thanks so very much for having me back. I know many of you from working with you over the years, and certainly hearing from where you're coming from. I'm very familiar and have traveled to a lot of these places. Was just in San Antonio with Mayor Castro, who, to your point, understands this issue very well. He's just a very sharp, great individual, as well as Mayor Benjamin in Richland County, which I'm from Fairfield County, so that would, that is only relevant to the two of us. So. She's like, "You're from that hellhole? Wow. They're letting you speak?" Yeah, she's like, "Did you say Fairfield?" Or no, it's a very small rural county where I grew up, farm county. I grew up on a farm, but it's really great to be here, as well as New York. I heard a number of Empire State folks in here, and we're actually scheduled to brief Governor Cuomo here soon, and that's a part of what we do. Make sure governors and mayors get a classified briefing on what's happening in the cyber realm. Obviously, the National Association of Counties, with the presumptive president, Commissioner Rogers. He's not president yet, right? Okay, presumptive. He and Romney, right? Yeah. Although one is guaranteed, one is not. I'm not going to get into all that. I know we got Republicans and Democrats here, and I used to work for the Obama White House, so we're nonpartisan here. But I would like to just really thank you for taking this issue and going forward with it. I remember 3 years ago when I started with the National Cybersecurity Division, I was a staff of one, and they gave me director title with no staff and no budget. And I can remember going to my first NACo meeting and literally sneaking into one of the sessions thinking this would be a great idea. And the next time they invited me back to speak, well, actually invited my boss back to speak, and he couldn't make it, so he sent me to Nashville. And I ended up sitting beside Commissioner Judge, who really took this issue and really ran with it. And we're here today, and I was sitting here marveling at, wow, how far we've come in a couple of years. And I think that's definitely an indication of you all, but that's also a very significant indication of where this issue has come. Several years ago, folks' eyes glazed over when you talk about cybersecurity. Today, it is absolutely not the next threat that we have to deal with. It is the threat we have to deal with. Land, air, sea, outer space, the four traditional battle domains for the United States of America. we've had to add the cyber infrastructure to that. And that one, more than any of the other four, much more pervasive, because right now we speculate about 90% or so of American households. We don't speculate. We've done some type of research. And 90 plus percentage of American households have some connectivity to the cyber infrastructure. Now, that's not counting, I think, someone said earlier, maybe Marianne or the Commissioner Rogers, that our infrastructure is also tied to that: water, electricity, emergency services. And we have seen the damage that can be inflicted by a cyber attack. Estonia of 2007, many of you may or may not know about that situation. Estonia is about the size of San Antonio. A significant cyber attack against that country. Not a very sophisticated one, by the way. Just a cyber attack that disabled that country for quite some time, and they're still, in some sense, recovering from that. Today, I just want to talk to you about low-hanging fruit. And I think that's important because we understand the budget situation going on out in, with counties at the state level, local level, at the federal level. For God's sake, you've been reading the paper lately. The budget debates going on. Our department has certainly been impacted by that, and we are currently realigning. Only in government where I was told, they came to me and said, Kelvin, that's good news. We're going to give you more responsibility, right? But not more budget and certainly not more pay. Congratulations, right? And there was sincerity behind that, right? Only in Washington you get more responsibility, and people think that's a good thing, without a budget or a staff or anything else. No, I think I get some staff that come with that. But that just speaks to the importance of this issue. Now, people really are getting the point that we just can't protect the intel community. We can't protect the federal government. We are doing that. But we also have to think about state and local, because these are the backdoor vulnerability points that folks like North Korea, Iran, China are taking advantage of. So, and this is being recorded, right? Okay. That other countries are taking advantage of. Strike from the record. Yeah, thank you. that'd be very good. Thank you very much. Our adversaries, foreign and domestic, are ever increasing in their cyber capabilities. And again, it's hitting you folks at the county level. So your foresight as leaders, I just want to applaud you. This is absolutely phenomenal. As Commissioner Rogers said, presumptive president, you're the first of the big seven to really take this issue to this level. Am I right, Janet? Would that be accurate? The others are certainly looking at it. They want to take it to the next level. But you're the first ones to say, you know what, we're going to form a standing committee. We're going to take it to the next level. And I really applaud you on that. I'm glad my friend Dalen is back in the room, because I was telling him about the first time I had to sneak into the NACo meeting. And I can't even remember being in Reno, and I was in a meeting, and Dalen looked at me and said, "What are you doing in here?" Yeah, because I didn't have a tag on or something. I showed him my DHS creds. He's like, "Okay, but you shouldn't be in here." We've come a long way. And now we got a standing committee. Really quickly, stay safe online. I think it will be up here soon. It's a great organization, a great website for you to go to utilize free information. And again, I want to stress to you before I start, everything I talk about today, in a brief moment here, I'm not going to take up much of your time, is at no cost. We understand fully well what's going on at county level. Now, how long can we keep it at no cost? I have no idea, but right now it's at no cost, right? But it's not a situation where we're going to give you something and then in a year or two, you got to pick up the payment for it. Those are other programs. I don't know, but not our situation. We are absolutely committed to keeping our programs at a no-cost basis for our county colleagues. Right now, as I stated before, 2/3 of businesses in your community, they're dependent on the internet for day-to-day operations. The majority of small business owners, 57%, say that loss of internet access for 48 hours would do grave damage to their business. So you can understand how this is important to you as county officials. The low-hanging fruit I was discussing earlier, the no-cost low-hanging fruit, very simple things. And actually, Marianne stole two of them, preemptively, discussed two of them, and passing a resolution with your county, right? You're the leaders in your local jurisdiction. Something coming from the county is always picked up from your local paper, right? Fortunately and unfortunately, right? Some things you don't want to pick up sometime. I'm not a politician, but I imagine that's the case. Certainly passing a resolution in your county, supporting cybersecurity. And October is an ideal time for that because it is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Certainly PSA at the county level, talking about cybersecurity and the importance of it. And we can send you information, stats, facts, quotes. We can actually send out speakers if you decide to hold a cyber summit, which is my third idea. No low-cost gatherings where we come out, or someone from the MSISAC or someone from our other organizations can come out to help discuss the importance of cybersecurity in your community. We had a very successful cyber summit in San Antonio, Columbia, South Carolina. We were there with Mayor Benjamin at the Technology Center there on Gervais Street, which is very, very impressive. But out of these summits, you also get the fourth thing that I'm going to talk about, community collaboration, because no one entity. Love my friends at IBM, think they're great. They started a lot of this stuff, can't do it by themselves, right? If it was just strictly a technology issue, we would have solved this a long time ago. This is just not a technology issue. This is a collaboration issue. This is a people issue where folks really have to come together to decide that this is important enough for us to work together. So building that community coalition is very important. I think former Commissioner Judge had a wonderful model there in Washtenaw County that's still thriving, and certainly we have some information for you on how to build that community coalition. Now, again, you have a lot of coalitions in your community. I get it. I do. You're adding another one. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot impress upon you enough how absolutely critical it is for you to take this issue and put it at the top of your list. Cybersecurity is interwoven in every single thing you do. And if you are 25 or younger in this room, which I think half of us are, right? Yeah. I'm 27, so I don't start graying early. That's how we do in Fairfield. At 25 and younger, forget it. They've not known a world that's not been connected, right? And actually, we've seen that 65 and older, they're absolutely connected these days. Why? Because we're putting more and more services online. They have to be there, to do well in life. And oh, by the way, to keep in touch with the grandkids, right? I can't tell you the last time I picked, so I don't know how many of you still use a house phone, right, as we call it back in Blair, South Carolina, right? The only reason I have a house phone, right, a phone that comes into my home, is because of my parents down in South Carolina, because if you don't have a house phone, then something's wrong with you financially, right? And my parents were like, what's wrong? But that is where we're going today, the wireless generation. So many of your constituents already, they're at the point of utilizing cybersecurity as their primary means of communication. As county officials, it may be incumbent upon you to make sure that, they're as protected as they can be, that we're doing our part. This is a public safety issue. I can tell you, and a number of you probably can come up with your own stories about children being harmed by meeting the wrong people online or downloading a virus, as Commissioner Rogers' brilliant 3-year-old hacked into his phone, was able to see. My 9-year-old, I just found out has hacking abilities herself, which I'm going to turn over to John at IBM, and we'll figure out what we can do there. I don't know if there's a age limit in hiring at IBM, maybe not. But these low-hanging fruit things you can do in terms of building these community coalitions work very well. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about is stop, think, connect. This is not my primary job. My colleague, Christina Durier, would normally talk about this as much more adept at discussing this, as well as Michael Kaiser, who's director of the National Cybersecurity Alliance, a nonprofit that we work with that does a wonderful job of getting the information out there. But this program is so impressive, I like going out talking about it, even to governors and mayors, because Stop, Think, Connect is our equivalent of Smokey the Bear, right? Only you can prevent forest fires, or I think he says only you can prevent fires these days. Or Tick It or Click It, right? Or McGruff the Crime Dog, take a bite out of crime, right? These PSAs we've grown up with, and we understand, and they've done, a great deal of good. Well, we've come up with Stop, Think, Connect. And you say, I hope you can come up with something better, catchy, That will be catchy in a year. You'll see. You'll say, oh, Stop, Think, Connect. I was part of the beginning of that. But that's our way of trying to make sure folks understand the importance of, connecting safely to the cyber infrastructure. In 2009, President Obama recognized the need to increase education and dialogue about cybersecurity, as was called for in what's called the Cyberspace Policy Review. Now, again, this is not a partisan issue because President Bush did some of the same things, and President Clinton continued it. President Obama continued it. The only reason President Clinton probably didn't do it is because when he came into office, I think there was something like 3 websites, I think the thing I heard back in the day. And so, it wasn't as big of an issue. But Stop, Think, Connect is a national public awareness effort to guide the nation to a higher level of internet safety by asking Americans to be more vigilant about practicing safer online habits through partnerships at the federal, state, and local level, as well as with the private sector. Very, very important. We have a number of private sector partners in here today. I'm always very encouraged to see our private sector partners. They're just, committed folks who want to see the nation protected. I'm always very grateful to see them. So by partnerships at all levels of government and with the private sector and with the nonprofit sector, we are reaching thousands of Americans, and hopefully with NACo, we actually can go to millions of Americans. I think every person in America, except for a jurisdiction in Maryland, I don't think Baltimore is part of a county or something, but every single American, I think, is a part of a county. And so with the help of NACo, this message of Stop, Think, Connect will go well beyond anything we could have ever planned for. Americans are adopting new and innovative technologies and spending more time online, at home, at work, at school, just a growing dependence on technology. And so the Stop, Think, Connect campaign's overreaching goal is to help Americans understand not only the risks that come with using the internet, but also the importance of practicing safe online behavior. In addition, the campaign aims to arm Americans at all levels with practical tips and tools to improve their online safety. What can you do? Well, first thing you can do is become a friend of the campaign. And we can talk about that a little bit later on, but certainly that is a way to learn more about how to better protect yourselves, your families, and again, this is free stuff that you can get online to give to your county IT director or whoever you want to lead this effort at the county level, hopefully you. But if you have to delegate it, then you can let your person know that there are a number of resources out there. The National Network is another tool of the campaign. The National Network is comprised of nonprofit groups and organizations that advocate and promote cybersecurity within their organizations and to their stakeholder group. So the campaign is seeking to build relationships with organizations and groups that target government, industry, small business, parents, educators, young professionals, anyone. And certainly, again, NACo does a great job of that. Last thing you can do is become or take advantage of the Cyber Awareness Coalition. This coalition, again, is made up of, I think we had up earlier, the number of partners supporting this working group. Certainly, that's what the Cyber Awareness Coalition is all about. And we're going to be asking NACo, actually, can we use their seal on our coalition page? Make it huge and prominent because you are the first of the Big Seven to really do this. That says a lot. The National Association of Counties is right up there, up front, doing the very best they can to protect Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have much else here to say except to say the Department of Homeland Security, we also have a number of tools for you to use at NACo and individual counties. We have awareness programs that we can come out and help you put together, evaluation programs, assessment programs, IT risk evaluation programs. We have a number of things at our disposal that we can help you to better understand the challenges and opportunities within your own network system. We're actually going to be out in Douglas County in October for the kickoff of the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Governor Heinemann, Lieutenant Governor Sheehy, Marianne, and Chris, and the whole group is going to welcome us there in Douglas County, and we're really looking forward to it. The thing we had to find out, the thing we had to research before we came out there is who Nebraska played the weekend before, because we knew that would impact, the crowd. But they're not playing the Gamecocks, so thank God. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, certainly if you have a question or two, more than happy to answer now or later. But that's my spill, and I really appreciate, again, you guys taking this issue to the next level. This is a game changer. It absolutely is. I don't want to be overly dramatic. This is absolutely a game changer. Again, I'd like to thank Commissioner Rogers, Commissioner Judge, Dalen, all the folks who've helped with this up to this point. This is absolutely a game changer for cybersecurity. So thank you very much.
Kelvin, we did have, if you go to your website, oops, it was up there. If you go to the website, I need my glasses to read it. You can find all the information about their program, but this is the program that we want you to. Did I pull up the right one? Is that the right one, Kelvin?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. The Stop, Think, and Connect, I think what we're asking for in the group today as the task force is that we adopt this program for us to be able to go on, use the material, spread it out, and again, it's all free for us. But as a task force, we want to embrace this program and take it back to our counties, take it back to our cities, take it back to our administration and staff, and use the tools that we have here from this program to help us build the awareness around this issue. So I would ask that we actually get a motion to adopt the use of the Stop, Think, and Connect program. Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, great. Now, the last thing, as I said earlier, we were going to have Kristen talk for just a minute about her organization and how we can encourage the task force members to get signed up and then, again, pass it along to others to get signed up for their program.
Great,
Kristen?
and I'll just take 1 minute because I know we all want to see Judge Sandra Day O'Connor. So first of all, I want to thank Kelvin for sharing the information about the Stop, Think, Connect. We'll follow that up with links to these sites and all of the materials that you need. And there was also, we got this online, the Community Coalition Building Guide, at the last minute, trying to make sure it was ready for NACo so Chris could roll that out. It's in partnership with National Cybersecurity Alliance, InfraGard, and the multi-state ISAC. But also we've created a document that just wasn't quite ready. It'll probably be ready on Monday. For you that has a list of the things like Kelvin was talking about, the low-hanging fruit. We'll have a copy of a template that you can give to your Board of Commissioners and say, let's pass this in support of October. We've already written it for you. You can have an event like he was talking about. We have a list, a menu. Chris asked us, create a menu for folks. What can I do in 1 day? What can I do in 1 week? What would take a month? And we've lined all that up for you. So the materials are already prepared. The staff experts are already ready to go. The newsletters, the templates, we have everything on here that you need and in a couple other places. So we'll make sure you have all those resources in an email. And then we have some folks, raise your hand if your county is already a member of the MSISAC. So some already are. All 50 state capitals are already a member of the MSISAC, all 50 states, and then another 100 local governments. And we're going to be asking the counties of NACo to join. And if the task force members haven't joined yet, it might just not come across very well. So all you have to do to join literally is send me, we're interested in an email. We're interested in joining the MSISAC. Here's my IT director's name, number, and email address. and we'll take it from there. That's it. It's free, no cost, no time. We just want to make sure you're connected. So I don't want to keep you from Standard Day. And also we have posters, newsletters. InfraGard is 50,000 people in the private sector community that partner with the FBI, and they're in your community. So these are members that are already working on this, people that you can talk to. Tomorrow we'll have Doug Dvorak here, who runs the FBI InfraGard program. So please look on this agenda. Tomorrow at 10:30, I think it's 10:30 or 10:45. 10:45, our workshop starts. So please come to the workshop also to get more information. Yes, Kathy.
This is wonderful, this setting up this committee, it's wonderful. But I was just wondering, I'm in a county, and you're a county, that we're looking at all of our legal documents. We want to be more transparent as a county. Is it on anyone's radar to look at all those old divorces and legal documents that have social security numbers and names of folks on there that now we're trying to put on the internet to sell this documentation? Yes, we are going to reject a lot of stuff, but everyone's names and probate and all their things are printed out in cyber land. Is anyone worried, or am I the one who's sleepless, that, for example, I went to a county website, I put John Smith in. I know that this John Smith received $2 million from a person that died through probate. And I'm just thinking, if I just use the common name I get and find all this information about this guy that lives in a county, I know we're just starting out.
Yeah, well, and Commissioner Shipwreck brought this up. Privacy is a really big issue, and I know this group is going to have to grapple with this. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Sound familiar, Judy? Yeah. Yeah. Sure. And privacy, because along with the internet comes all these issues of privacy. That certainly came up last time. It'll continue to come up, so we hope you'll continue to be a part of that conversation. Great. Thank you.
Just one last point. When you think of Click Connect Online, don't just think of that as a computer. Any device you have in your home, in your office, in your educational institutions that connects to the internet, think PlayStation, think Xbox, think devices that connect to it. It's not just your email computer at home. It's much, much bigger than that.
Very good point. Okay. Any other comments? Okay, with that, again, tomorrow morning at 10:45, we have we have great presenters and more information and more talk about what activities we could build for the month of October. So I hope you all come. And with that, we're adjourned. Thank you.